Steven and Rico were really good business partners, you know, and yeah, of course, everybody brings a bit of ego to the table, and that's always hard to work with. But like being at 412, dude, I take zero credit for that place. Like, because I was abusing alcohol like the last 2 years that I was there. I was popping pills like crazy. Nobody knew that. But the worst part is I got arrested in city jurisdiction, so they take you right downtown. So then you're in Birmingham City Jail, which is way different than Coleman. He's going to end up dead. And he did. He ended up dead like 5 or 6 years later. Tried to rob somebody's house and they shot him.
Trey, you're shitting on two things that I love the most, bro. I got salty, bro, and I'll be honest, I offended you, bro.
I don't want to be here ever again.
We are here today with Trey Jordan, fellow business owner, philosopher, all-around great guy, and we are happy to sit down and have a conversation with him today. Okay, so red light is on. We are live.
All right.
I guess we'll start off. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Doing good? Are you excited?
I am. I've never been on a podcast
This is your first time doing one?
Yeah. I mean, I've tried out filming some, making some of my own, you know, just kind of like test concept, things like that.
Yeah.
But I've never been cool enough to be asked.
You did the short filmmaking, right? You did that one scary, that horror.
Yeah.
But I'm being so real when I say this. Like, I was watching it, and I know it was on at like 10 minutes?
Yeah, shoot, maybe 90 seconds.
Oh, 90. It was. I
like
know it was
so
short.
short.
But dude, it's like it's one of those things. Like, dude, I had chills, bro.
Yeah, and the thing is, that was just like something that we threw together because I love movies.
Yeah,
I love movies. That's really where I want to be at in the future. It's something I'll never give up on. You know what I mean?
Filmmaking.
I'm genuinely passionate about it. I love writing.
Yeah.
So, but you have to put something out there, and like it's very difficult when you don't have a team of support. So me and my buddy were just like, well, let's just see if we can work with what we got here and throw something together.
What'd y'all do it at your house?
Yeah.
Is that your house?
Yeah. That's it. Use my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so like like when you in the little short, like you'll see the legs run by.
Yeah.
That's one of my kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of leaned on them. Like,
Yeah.
you want to be a part of it? Because, you know, that's fun for them.
Yeah.
To be involved.
So. I did back when I was like a kid, dude. I was like, I want to say, like 4th or 5th grade. I know me and my friends, like, we used to take our phones and just make like our own horror films with just our little phones. But it wasn't nothing like it wasn't.
See,
I
didn't even have that. Like,
yeah.
That's what's so crazy. How old are y'all?
21.
22.
Yeah. So see, I'm 33.
22.
You're not.
22.
You're 23.
Yeah, you're 23, Isaac. You're a year older than I am, and I'm 22.
You're 23.
How y'all gonna tell me how old I am? I know how old I'm. 22.
No, you're not.
Wait, when's your birthday?
July
17th.
Yeah, you're 23. What the hell?
Isaac, you just.
Wow.
Remember
Why the fuck do I always do that?
See, I was like, wait, no,
Are
you
you-
are 23.
I just
21.
turned 23. That's
Yeah.
why. But I even did that when we went to a barber. It's in Birmingham, bro.
Yeah.
Do you like when you get a drink, they always ask you if you're not old enough to be like, hey, ID or how old are you? Well, it's just like a natural thing. I don't know why I did it, but she asked me, and I'm 22 at the time. She's like, how old are you? Just to make sure, like, you know, that we're old enough to get in. And it's just a natural. I was 22 at the time. I was like, I'm 21.
He like freaked out. And
I don't know.
like,
I don't know why I get so freaked out when people ask me my age. I just like it's.
Yeah, you can't be so on the nose. You know, you just gotta leave a little guesswork. You know, 21's too spot on.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Superbad. You know, with the
McLovin?
McLovin. You know what I mean? It's like why did you pick something so specific?
I just
It's
watched
a
that
dead
movie.
giveaway.
That shit is so funny.
That movie's
I love
hilarious.
Superbad. Yeah,
That movie's hilarious.
that's like an all-time. Superbad, Step Brothers, and
You know, I don't like Step Brothers.
he loves
Isn't that
Step
crazy?
Brothers.
That's the first time I've ever publicly admitted that I don't like Step Brothers.
He can recite every quote from there.
I mean, some of it's funny. It's just I've noticed it. Like I'll get around everybody and they're like, "Oh my God, Step Brothers is so funny," and I'm kind of like, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. You know, everybody gets into it. I've never seen an episode.
hold on,
I've-
Trey, you're shitting on two things that I love the most, bro. Game of Thrones.
You like Game of Thrones?
Dude.
I would watch Game of Thrones. I've just not taken. Like I feel like it's a lot of time to sit down and get caught up.
You do have to be very invested in that TV show, and especially 8 seasons. The episodes are an hour and a half long. There's like 12 or 14 episodes in each season.
That's like hundreds of hours.
But I'm telling you,
I mean, I know it's worth it. Like
the storyline to that, it's amazing. And if you watch it in the subtitles, I don't know, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
If you watch it in the subtitles, because you can I don't know.
that makes sense.
But back to the
Reinforces the idea.
Back to the Step Brothers thing. What?
I know.
You just is it?
I think I just got so exhausted, like when Step Brothers came out, like, golly, everybody, Catalina wine mixer. And it was just one of those things. And it was always just one of those things where people would quote it. Now, to be fair, though, like, my movie that I quote all the time is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I love that movie.
That movie's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I watch it every year, probably, 4 times a year. It's bizarre. But I love that movie. It's like comfort food. There's some, and maybe Step Brothers is comfort.
It's comedy that's not necessarily trying to be comedy.
Yeah, it's just it's very it's just very genuine. There's just something about it.
Yeah.
It's just something genuine.
That's that movie where they break out of jail, right? They break out with George Clooney.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I've seen that, but I don't know it that good.
it's based on the Odyssey.
It's what?
Which is like an old
Oh
myth.
yeah, it's old
like
myth.
like the Odyssey is like one of the earliest works of like written works we have as a species. It's
Odyssey.
The Odyssey, like Homer's The Odyssey. You've never heard of The Odyssey? Oh man, that's what it's based on. I say
I don't think I've. Yeah,
like,
have you heard of it?
It's just,
No.
like, it's called. We identify with it culturally.
Homer's The Odyssey. Let's ask co-pilot.
Yeah, so see, The Odyssey is one of the 2 major ancient Greek epic poems attributed to
Oh,
Homer.
bro. Okay. No, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a movie. I thought you were talking about a movie.
Yeah, and look, you're talking like the Iliad, so composed in the 8th century.
Dude, we learned
8th
about that in high
century
school,
BC,
bro.
man. That's old.
We learned about that in high school.
That's what our brother were out there is based on.
Oh.
Like, like the Cyclops. Like John Goodman's character is the Cyclops. That's why he's got the patch on his eye.
I'm going to have to watch that movie just so I can understand what you're talking about.
Isaac, do you like Dumb and Dumber?
Huh?
Do you like Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. I did like Dumb and Dumber. There was actually a scene that I just seen on the other day, and it was Dumber, and he was talking. He was like, yeah, my wife was getting on to me because she says I never listened to her. And he was like, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention whenever. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. My joke telling and me trying to like explain something is terrible. And you know that, you know this. I can't tell jokes.
Because comedy's situational. It's one of those things where you just got to be there. That kind of thing. You just got to be there.
You have to.
You can't try to be funny. Like, you just have to it just has to come to you.
It really does. And that's so true. That's how I am. That's why I just gave up on telling jokes, man.
I don't know any jokes. I don't have a
You don't know any dad jokes?
Man. Like the basic ones, like
You don't just make shit up on the spot?
No, I don't think I'm that clever.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think I am. I mean, again, it'd be situational. I'm sure I have come up with jokes on the spot, but I don't store them in my brain. Like, I'm going to use that on a podcast. Like, that's podcast material.
Just write it down in my podcast notes.
When I get famous, I'm going to drop all these dad joke bombs, and that's it.
Just sweating, waiting for it to happen.
Always, man. That's it. I'm waiting for my moment.
Dude.
Isaac has a first-hand story to tell. So.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You were there.
Where?
With Diddy.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, I was not. I've never met Diddy. Never been to an all-white party. I've never done any of that.
Man, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah,
I have so many questions about that.
I don't.
No,
like I know clearly it wasn't a slip and slide. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's strange to me, and I think it's a weird part of our culture that people like that are able to get to the top and be so insulated for so long for things like that are really horrific. Mm-hmm. Like, when what was her name? Cassie came for. I remember when Cassie got popular. Like, y'all were kids when she got popular. Like, she had a hit when I was in high school, and you don't really associate these things. Like, it's just, hey, he's famous, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
He's famous.
And you got that money.
Man, it's crazy to me. I've been thinking about it, because you've seen it and you hear it, and it's just it's weird to me. It's really weird.
My thing is just like, I don't understand how he's even been going on for that long. It's like I know people have been saying this, like, Diddy's weird. Diddy's been doing weird shit for, like 10 years ago. Yeah. They were bringing up stuff about that. And now, I guess it's probably just because of social media and stuff, you're able to put more stuff out there and more evidence and stuff. And so people are like, okay, what really is fucking, what's been going on these past, you know what I mean? Because there's videos, you can look it up, but like he had, this teenage white girl around, and it was like, I don't know how, they had like six brothers all in the background, and she's sitting on a microphone on live, or like Instagram live or something, and they're asking her like, what's your sign? What's your zodiac sign or something like that? And she's like, oh, I'm a whatever. What's the sign?
A Libra.
I'm an Aquarius or some shit like that. And you could obviously tell this girl's like 17, 18 years old, bro, around grown ass men asking her what her sign is. You know what I mean? And
it's
like,
a power trip, man. It's a power trip. Like
when you have that
weird.
kind of money
Yeah.
and you have that kind of power.
See, that's why I'm not into. I'm legitimately like when you see ultimately like the fruit of beliefs like that, and it's on full display, you begin to start questioning your relationship to money. Like, do I really want? Is this what success means to me? Is this what the culture is telling me is success? And if this is the case, like, what's really at the heart of this? That's why I don't really think about money. And I'm glad actually, when I was at 412, one of the best things Steven ever told me was just like, dude, the money will come, but like you're inundated with so many like forward-facing ideas of what it is that you have to be. It's kind of like when you go into a movie and you love a movie, but you have no idea what it takes to make one. Like you have no idea really what these people are doing to be in such prominent positions. And it's not all good, By and large, it seems like it's not. And it's not that like from a personal side of things, like people's certain proclivities, like that's cool. But like to be so abusive is like that just you don't care. Like you're so selfish. And I think it is that money. And I think that like, I guess that's why I feel very different about culture now in my 30s than I did when I was y'all's age, And I guess that comes with maturity. It comes with making your own mistakes and knowing like when you are basing your behavior on things that you see that you don't understand, that you've never actually asked questions about, And so like, you look back and it's like, man, fame it's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird.
And people don't realize what it takes to really get to have that fame. You know what I mean? It's not just all butterflies and, you got to do weird shit.
Yeah, and
honestly.
Yeah, it's
but what you just said about the money, that kind of hit me. You said when you say you don't care about money, it's not that money, I'm not worried about it. It's just like, because I know me, it's not that I stress about money, but it feels like at my age, that's all I have to. What's the word? I don't want to say like that's all I think about is money, but like I feel like if I'm not getting money or if I'm not doing anything to put money in my pocket, that I feel like shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, it's like it's a social marker. I mean, you've got to have it. You know what I mean? Like if you have any like sort of ambition, like money is important, and you need to be working. Like but I feel like generally, like I don't think there's a problem with money, but I do know that there's got to be some other ideal that you're shooting towards. That money can maybe be a byproduct of. Mm-hmm. But see, I wasn't that way. Like I was literally in my 20s, I was just thinking about how I could make money and look good doing it while I do it.
That's exactly how I feel. And
literally. It's like, it's really empty, and I don't know how to explain it. Or, I guess like being put on the spot like that, I might could come up with more of an idea and more of all I could really do is tell you stories about like why that. But dude, like I don't have a lot of money, you know what I mean? And like I have some money, but I don't have a lot of money. And I think it's easy for people to make those associations with people who have a business or something. Owning a business is not easy, and there's only so much money to go around in a place like Coleman anyways, like you're dependent on people who have money to give it to you anyways. Like you can open a 412 or a business, like, but only so many people are going to bring you their money every day anyways. Mm-hmm. Like, so I, at some point you have to be able to put a cap on like what really is bringing me joy about this. If it's just the money, then I think your priorities are off. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
And like, I just thought it'd be cool in my 20s, like, oh man, like to have a car and now I look back and I just kind of find it stupid. Mm-hmm. I kind of find it stupid because like I look back and all of those times where I thought that stuff mattered to me is when I was being my stupidest. You know what I mean? So I knew it's like, well, if I'm trying to grow and learn and mature, then I got to get rid of all of that, full stop. And then, maybe reestablish my beliefs in something different, and then maybe some sort of, benefit will come down the pike. But I just, like, I had a major mindset shift in like my 30, like when I was 30, 31 years old.
Really?
Oh, big time.
What like, Just one day you just woke up, you had a shift, or like was it something that happened? That
Yeah, I mean, I think like being a part of that restaurant, which was really cool, and recognizing how much of my own ego contributed to some of the problems, and like wanting to take credit where credit really was not due to you. You know, like again, I like talking about building a brand and all of that stuff, being in front, like that is just what seemed so important to me because that's all I saw in the culture growing up. You know, like whether it's Playboy magazine or Sports Illustrated, like people are always trying to sell you an ideal, and you don't actually have any idea what it takes. And so by the time you've developed such a habit of kind of, you know, like I said, making these connections between you and what it is that you think is success, when people try to tell you that that's not it, you have a knee-jerk reaction. Like you're almost like, man, don't tell me what I know. Yeah. But you don't know. Mm-hmm. And I learned the hard way. And like, so when I sold out, you know, of 412, you know, that was a humbling moment for me because it was the first time where it was like, it didn't register with me, but like I had to step back and reflect and say, the only reason I'm not in this business now is because of my actions and my thoughts and how I characterized my beliefs, you know? And so from there, you know, you try to hang on to certain ideals and they just sort of slowly but surely, like that one domino that knocks your ego, it will take everything else with it. And it's just a matter of time, you know, and then you really will be in a position where you're by yourself. And I remember like one night looking up, because I was abusing alcohol like the last 2 years that I was there. I was popping pills like crazy. Nobody knew that. And there was a time where I was like laying down and I don't even know how to explain it, but like I just kind of put my hand up and towards the ceiling. And I don't know why I did that. I don't know why it's relevant to me, but like something triggered it. And I guess it was like I was reflecting, like, what exactly do I want these hands to do? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that I really want to do? Because clearly doing the stuff I want to do for myself ain't working, you know? And I tried to convince myself that it would, but it is a lie. And I think that to tie it back into Diddy, that's that when you're so insulated against your own horse shit, like it'll get you. Mm-hmm. And it got me, and I'm glad it got me when it did. You know, it's just, and that's just a personal level. I don't have Diddy money. Like I just know that for me, it was something that needed to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's kind of how that went.
I guess you gotta, at least you're grown enough, you can like look in the mirror and tell, okay, I was the problem, I was the issue, and now look where you're at now.
I mean, that's like, yeah, like,
you know?
I know that, like, I like learning about the brain, and I love psychology, and I love philosophy. And that's another thing I decided to do, like, on the other side of this thing for me personally was like, I'm going to go back to school. So I started going back to school. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to get a philosophy degree. Like, I want to learn what it means for people to establish beliefs based on cultural assumptions, and compared to what it means to actually reflect on why you believe what you believe. I think that's important because it might take you right back to the same thing that you believed in originally, but at least you're not assuming it. You know what I mean? At least you're not mimicking and copying, you know, and I was just doing a lot of copying. And they'll tell you that, like, if you want to be an artist, you know, they'll say, like, you got to lie, steal, and cheat your way to success. And at some point you do borrow things from other people. But if you're genuinely trying to create new outcomes, at some point you're going to have to give a part of yourself that you don't want to, you know. And it usually hinges on the ego. It's like you have to be willing to make a sacrifice. Like you've got to let the world teach you something. And so that's why I was like, yeah, I'm going back to school, man. And like when you really start, like when you learn about the brain, how the brain actually processes your environment, it's really interesting, you know. And it's always helpful for me, like when I was trying to quit drinking, and I will still drink some, but it's not a part of my identity anymore. But one of the best pieces of advice I'd ever heard was, you know, if you're trying to quit doing something, read about what it's doing to you while you do it, you know. Like read about what it is doing to you and like gather that information, because once it comes in, it's got to go somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? And once you know, you can't unknow. Like for me, I guess people can deny it, but once you really learn about the effects of what certain things do to your body, if you have any self-respect at all, you'll stop. You know, you'll stop. Mm-hmm. So, and it's a tough thing, you know.
I can't say that. I can't because I know what drinking does to my body, but dude.
That's what an alcoholic sounds like.
I'm far from. I had a drink last night or two.
But you don't drink. Like, you don't get
No.
trash drunk every time you drink. I
No.
feel like,
Bro, let me tell you. So, like,
understanding.
no, like, I don't judge that. Like, I don't judge that. Like, I understand, like, intentionality now. Like, ultimately, it is the intention behind the object. It's not the object itself. It's like, what do you plan to do with this thing and why? You know, I mean, I'll tell my kids that. Like, what kind of value are you placing into this object? Because ultimately, the value is coming from you. Like, if you're giving something to this thing, you know, like, you are giving a part of yourself to it. You're transacting in it, where it's like something about, like, from an abusive standpoint, like, something about this thing makes me feel complete. You know, that's and which is a bizarre thing when you think about it. Like, this is a thing that has no spirit, it has no soul, it's just a thing, but for some reason, it brings me so much joy, and I that didn't sit well with me. Like, dude, I'm not kidding. I would wake up. The last year I was at 412. I would wake up, take a pain pill, and by the time I got there at 10, I'd drink on the job till 4, go home, smoke pot, take a pill. It was every day, and it was just like, what am I avoiding? You know what I mean? And it sucks because, like, I don't like having to say that stuff publicly, but at the same time, I feel like when people sweep those kinds of things under the rug, it's not, you know, what progress can be made. You know, like, at some point, like, when I was y'all's age, I didn't have 30 and 33-year-old people telling me, like, hey, this is what you should not be doing. I really didn't, you know, and, like, when I think back on it, I had, like, the people in my life I've learned, just like we did, like y'all, and y'all do the same, it's normal, but just most of what I was told not to do was based on other people's perception of me. Not really for the right reason. It was just like, you just don't want to look bad, you know. That's kind of like what I got a lot of growing up, which felt kind of empty. Yeah. So you're like, all right, well, who says? I can be the life of the party.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So, too heavy? We go to the next topic.
I think
No.
I think we should take a drink to that.
Yeah.
Let's drink to it.
Pour up a drink.
I enjoy listening. That's the kind of person I am. Like, I just sit there and listen and soak it in, and just I apply it to, like, my life. You know what I mean? So I try to just thinking, because
Well, all right. So okay, we'll go on to the next topic because that's a funny story. But the brain is interesting. So the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, they complement each other. It's not like one is more suited to do a particular task. So the right hemisphere is all about, you know, seeing things as a whole, and the left hemisphere is more about trying to compartmentalize and segregate things. So they work together, right? And so this is why it's so important to not be so focused on yourself, because you're literally training your brain, like say, for instance, when you're comparing yourself on the phone, like if you're swiping up and down on the phone all day, you're actually activating a way different part of your brain, and you're actually training your brain to become, you know, respondent to a hyper focus on a device that is just reflecting your own desires. Like, when you're on those algorithms, like when you're on Facebook and social media and Instagram, like all that, they are telling you how to think. You might not recognize it, but they are telling you how to think. And then at the same time, what they're doing is they're numbing your right brain's ability to be aware of, like, what's on the periphery. You know what I mean? So, like, I do think that, again, like I said, it's cultural. You know, you can tell a difference. What's so funny is we can see, like, you can step back and see the room for what it is, but as soon as you put your attention on something, it changes. You know what I mean? Like, it's really bizarre, and that's a different part of your brain. And, like, there's an anxiety that comes from new environments, like, because right brain is new experience that passes it off the left brain that tries to categorize it based on how you've already experienced your life. So new things really are very scary, but it's very, very beneficial for you if you're willing to, again, put the ego down and let it happen. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now you learned something about the brain.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's how it's interesting.
You can actually, like, control your, like, train your brain.
Yeah, you can totally. Like reading. I went on, like, a reading journey for like 2 or 3 years, man, and, like, people assume you should be reading. It's like, no, it's literally just about, you know, just letting your brain do it in a different way. Like, think about it. If I showed you a picture of a horse and told you to read a description about the horse, your brain is doing two completely different things. One is not having to fill in any gaps, which is not strengthen any neural connection, which does produce creativity. And one does require you to make sort of synaptic connections that strengthen your ability to find new outcomes. Like, it's really bizarre.
It's like, dude, I'm blown.
It's bizarre. Like, it's really bizarre. So
you said you read a lot.
Lots.
You feel like that, like, does that help? Like, does that help you a lot? Is that just
because
is it better than being on, like, making content, social media and stuff like that? Like,
yeah,
you enjoy it?
It is because, like, it's applicable. Like, when you're reading something, you are reading somebody's impression of their own consciousness. Like, you are taking in, like, their own brain waves, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is a vibration. So, and it's a unique experience. Like, there's something about reading that when you're doing it, you don't quite recognize the benefit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, people that read are smarter, they live longer, they suffer less anxiety. And it's because they're willing to subject themselves to so many new ideas. I have a friend who reads, and he reads so much that he's just, like, very docile. Like, he's very hard to shake.
Calm.
Because he just knows shit that you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, well, what about this? It's like, well, actually, this is from this and that. You can pinpoint beliefs, man, and that's what I think is so cool about reading. Is like, for y'all being in your 20s, there's so many things that you assume are just the way they are because that's the way they've always been. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Like, it is not true, And I that's why I like reading.
Yeah.
It's humbling, it's a practice in responsibility. And by responsibility, I mean, like, the ability to respond to something. Like, it forces you to engage with it, And it's a completely different practice than just having someone serve it up to you on a screen,
Yeah, dude. I feel like, and you mentioned, like, anxiety and stuff. I feel like people our age was, like, at the heights, or we're at the heights of, like, anxiety and stuff like that. Cause, dude, I got anxiety right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm chilling, but it seems like anytime I have to go do something, or if I'm working, I'm just always stressed about something, or just thinking about, it's
because,
so hard
like,
to explain, but that anxiety is just like.
So, like, think about it. Like, this is another thing too about information that's really interesting, is it seems counterproductive because it's new, but how beneficial do you think it is to actually sit there and think about the same thing over and over and over again? It's not like,
It's
and that's
not.
where anxiety kind of comes from. Is it's like, and I'm not saying that I'm not a doctor, like I'll have a 2-year degree shortly, but like, I would consider myself like an autodidact, like somebody who likes to learn. Like, I teach myself a lot, and the reason I went to school was to sort of make connections from professionals that I did not quite know how to make, so. But being in school, I'm already very familiar with a lot of the topics just because, I've got 1,000 books and I'll just grab one off the shelf and crack it open, but what's cool about that is, like, when you're so selfishly motivated, you're not you're stewing on the same things over and over and over again, and you're wondering, it's like insanity, like the definition of that, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, it doesn't work that way. And so I'm always encouraging people to read, because, like, I had a good friend call me out one time because of a very maybe a poor understanding of a certain topic, and he just grilled my ass. And from there, I'm like, all right, that was humbling and embarrassing.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna go read about it.
I need to get on my shit.
I need to get this together. I need to get it together. So.
Damn.
I know, right? I mean.
No, yeah, I'm just listening, bro. I love to hear you talk, man. That's why I wanted to get you on here, because I had you on. So that brings me to that topic. Tell Trey about the unfriend. I had you on Facebook, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, bro, dude. I messaged you the first time.
Yeah.
About the podcast, right?
So I did respond to you a couple times. I did see that. I don't know if you saw that. That's why I was baffled when you came in. Was like, well, you didn't respond to Isaac. I was like, I thought I did. I thought I had.
You did not the first time you did it, and I'm being 100% honest with you, bro. I got really salty, bro.
He did. He came here like, why didn't he? He just opened it and didn't reply. Like, I was just like, I don't know.
There's no hate in my heart.
Dang, I feel bad.
I got salty, bro, and I'll be honest, I unfriended you, bro.
No.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, man, that
Because he
hurt.
asked me last night. He's like, why aren't we friends on Facebook? And I was like, dude, did you unfriend me or something?
But it was you.
Knowing damn well it was me.
Dang, Isaac.
Oh, my
goodness.
I wanted to wait until you got on here so I could openly tell you.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty.
Like,
I appreciate the honesty.
I got, like I said.
Because you got in your head. You got in your head.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's like.
My anxiety, I overthink, and And I got like, yeah, bro. I'm just like, dude, why did he not respond to me?
But that's that's what I mean about the culture is like when you have so many things that you can compare yourself to all of the time, you feel worthless. Like you feel very worthless. Like it plagues men, it plagues women. That's why I get really bothered about like people that take like the hyper masculine or the hyper feminine approach. It's like one's just as bad as the other. Like I can't stand listening to that type of stuff because it's not productive.
What do you mean?
Hyper masculine? So like politically, for instance, like women's rights, that's something that I agree women should have, and in protest to what would historically be seen as a hyper masculine, like patriarchal type of idea that kept women from having certain rights. But if the root of like this response to having rights as women is just to embody that same like angry spirit that historically is claimed to that men have taken towards women, they just swap roles, and so like I said, like that's why I can't stand like some of these more like identity based discussions that are going on around in culture right now. Because there is a particular part of identity that does seem to be missing in the sort of cultural discourses, like, God and religion. I would never tell somebody to go into or convert to a religion or anything. But when like I said, being in y'all's shoes, I never considered God or religion or spirituality as an option for like a way that I could see myself in the world beyond how I looked, so that I do think that, when you are constantly seeing things that you are comparing yourself to, when you kind of sort of segue into religious study and maybe you convert to a religion, maybe you profess Christianity or Islam or Judaism or Buddhism, whatever it is, you begin to start seeing where you're comparing apples to oranges, and you just start seeing yourself differently. Like it is tough because you're made to be so aware of everything all of the time in our culture. And your brain, it'll short circuit with that type of information. Like you can't do anything with it. Like, all right, I can tell you this stuff, but what do you do with it? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you have no practice, what are you supposed to do with it? Mm-hmm. That's why it's so dangerous to sit on YouTube and just watch stuff, which I'll do all the time. Like it'll start changing your mood and you'll be like, man, this is a problem. That's where like conspiracy theorists come out.
Dude, I was literally, and like that brings me to like comparing yourself. Like, I literally, if I see, maybe one of my favorite barbers on Instagram, one of my favorite, musicians on there, and like the life they're living, and I'm thinking, I literally overthink. I'm like, damn, like, what can I do to put myself in their shoes? Like, how can I get to live how they live?
For sure.
And I think that's what causes like a lot of my anxiety.
Yeah.
And overthinking.
So I think that so I was thinking about like how would you generally describe success to yourself? Like if I was to ask you like, hey Isaac, how do you define success? Would it be process oriented or would it be outcome oriented? You know what I mean? Like, is it something that your idea of success is informed by other outcomes that you see, or is it informed by processes that you have been a part of? Is a big difference. That's like look at Nick Saban at Alabama. Like he's always talking about trust the process. It's like everything is a process, and I think that we get so like when you're in a consumer society where you can trade this for that, you become very outcome oriented. But like, damn, think about how much time you spend making the money you make just to buy shit that you ultimately will not need. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of silly. It's not to say that you shouldn't have stuff. Like there ain't nothing wrong with that, dude. Like I said, I have 1,000 books, man. Like I've spent some money on those books. I think they're more valuable. Like, dude, I only have one pair of shoes. I have one pair of shoes and I have a pair of house shoes and some sandals that are like 7 years old and disgusting. It's time for some new sandals. I mean, I just think that you have to look back at like beyond comparison. What kind of time have I actually spent with this concept of success? Is it just, all right, as long as I look like this dude, I'll be good? No. You know what I mean? Like that's not where your sense of self-worth comes from. The things you have is not
doesn't define you.
It doesn't, it doesn't. And I get that. Like it is important and it's sometimes you want to celebrate yourself because you do work hard. So I'm not insensitive to those kinds of things. Like girls want to get a Louis V, like they like people want things, but you do have to recognize that those are just like, those are cultural markers. Like those are things that you're like signaling to people. Like, hey, I've made it.
They're trying to get you to like buy whatever they're putting out there.
Yeah. And
yeah, 100%. Because like you see people talking, oh man, if you're not making this amount of money, then
a day, then what are you doing?
You're a
what are you doing with your life? And then you're like, damn.
Like, no.
Then I feel attacked. I'm like, damn. Like, what am I doing in my life?
Yeah.
I'm not making this kind of money. So I need to be making this kind of money. And then you get down on yourself and you start overthinking everything, and it just then that's where like the anxiety comes in, and you start feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been feeling for the past.
It's not so, like I said about like philosophy, it's one of those things where when you're stuck in the middle of something, it feels like this is just the norm, but it's not really. And so the only like stepping back and like observing, I was talking to my sister about that this morning, is like stepping back and actually observing what it is that you believe and why, beyond just someone telling you. That's important. Like I said, you might go right back to being a barber and loving what you do, but then you might legitimately just love what you do for just the simple act of doing it. You know, like if you can enjoy doing something just for the sake of doing it, that to me is successful. You know,
I seen something like on Instagram that said to do something you love that you would do for free.
Yeah, totally.
I would cut for free. It's never been about the money to me.
Yeah, and like there's something about it because, you know, like writing for me was that way. I've always liked to write, but all I could think about was like, oh man, I'd love to sell a screenplay one day and be $1 million screenwriter in Hollywood. I was just obsessed with an outcome, and it actually affected my quality of my writing. And there was a few times, very embarrassingly, where I was actually able to get my writing in front of people because I was overly ambitious and I was not prepared. Like I had forced the scenario as opposed to letting this present itself to me. And so I got involved with a producer in Atlanta who's very successful at what she does. And she agreed to read one of my screenplays. Dude, she sent me, if it was a 90-page screenplay, she sent me a page of notes on every screenplay that was like, this is the worst thing I've ever read in my life. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yes. Like, and there was a moment where I'm like, man, but I knew deep down that I rushed it. Like I knew deep down that I was trying to force it. And so like, I've been tooling around with the idea of kind of like you cannot let ambitions outpace your opportunities, you know, because there's like the very thing you're begrudging, and I'm not even saying begrudging, the very thing you're not valuing is going to be what takes you to that next step. Like, you know, waking up and learning how to have respect for every single thing you do, because like something has to follow the other. Like it's cause and effect, you know, and like, if you can't be proud of where you are now, then you're not going to be proud of where you get to, you know? And I had a really hard time with understanding that concept. So, and now that I understand it, it's like, my dad has this saying, like, what's time to a hog? Like, what other animal on the planet keeps time like we do? You're not running out of time. You know what I mean? You're just wasting it. Like, anxiety is like, you're just wasting it, you know? So, because everything you need to be doing in your field, you're already doing. Like, you never know, you know, as they say, showing up is half the battle. If you just show up, you know, with nothing, no expectation as to what will come, and allow yourself to be surprised, like activate that right brain and like let something new happen to you beyond just your ability to control it, you know, like, oh no, I want to design this, you know, it, more often than not, it'll work out the way it's supposed to. I've learned that. So.
Dude, I love this. Yeah. I'm taking all this. I don't even know.
Okay, so tell us about the story you got.
Yeah,
arrested.
So this is like.
My mom kind of.
So tell me about when you got arrested.
My mom kind of was telling my stepdad, but I was like, I want to hear it from him, so let me hear it.
So, like macro, you know, it was just one of those things where, just being a punk, Mm-hmm. I stole some stuff from Best Buy, you know.
What did you steal though?
Like video games. Okay. And I had the intention of like, you know, being like a little punk ass criminal, and I was like, I was gonna take these things and sell them, like sell stolen goods, just to go, you know, put a little cash in my pocket. It was just ignorant. But the worst part is I got arrested at the Best Buy on 280, which just because that's down the road from the summit and you think that you're, you know, around wealthy people, doesn't mean that you're not like in city jurisdiction. So they take you right downtown. So then you're in Birmingham City Jail, which is way different than Coleman. You know,
Dude, I'm already knowing. Yeah,
way different than Coleman. You know, I swear to God. So like, they do roll call in jail, obviously, and so they'll open your cell up, and and I was there for a day. You know, like it's not even like a horror story. It was just like, man, how did I get myself into this?
what the fuck am I doing
What
here?
is this? Are you kidding me? And you think you're hard, but the funniest part that your mom is alluding to is the fact that, like, again, keeping up with looks, you know, there I am, like, kind of like, you know, I was kind of big when I was 18, 19 years old, so I'm kind of like swelled up, you know. But then I'm over there on the payphone, like, hey, Dad, like, when you come to get me, bro? Because, like, these dudes are not.
They grilling me
like,
right
they're
now.
really, like, I just gave up my milk, my spaghetti. I gave my breakfast. I swear, dude, this
All in a matter of a day.
dude, like, my breakfast that morning was, I don't remember the food, but I was specifically asked by a person at my table if I wanted my milk. I'm like, you look like you need it way worse than I do. And that's when I learned a hard lesson. It's about, like, theft. It's like, man, you are really, really, really belittling, you know, the, you know, if people want to call it privilege, I would call that a privilege. Like, I didn't have to do that. It was just stupid.
Yeah.
But when they did roll call, I jumped up on one of the water pipes that was running through my cell, and I was doing pull-ups because, you know, I wanted the guard on duty doing roll call. Like, what up, bro? You know, yeah, I'm big. But I even
like that.
I even had a dude in my holding cell. Now, let me tell you, dude, this is crazy. This will open your eyes. It's a whole different world. So I don't take it lightly, but, like, they booked me and they had me waiting on a wall, and I was cuffed, like I was handcuffed. And so I had, you know, I was just very anxious because I'm like, again, this is a new environment. You talk about right brain. I'm like, I can't walk to the fridge. I can't disrespect my mama. Like you know what I mean? And they're like, there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah, bro.
So I was sitting there nervously with my hands behind my back, cuffed, like grinding my cuffs against the paint on the wall. And they brought in this dude who was belligerently cracked out, you know, and, like, they beat the hell out of this dude. And I was like, I don't want to be here ever again. Like, I don't. And then they took me to my holding cell, and some other dude was like, you know, what are you? He asked me. He was like, why are you, like,
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? You know, and I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, don't start with me. I'm like, yes, sir. You know, I know why I'm here. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know why I'm here, and that is the problem. I'm an idiot, so please don't hurt me. Dad, come get me, please.
Come get me, please.
I'm like, please. So that's how that was. That was very embarrassing. And then, man, my dad hit me with the coldest line I've ever heard in my life.
Wait, pause.
All right.
My mom told me that he didn't come pick you up.
Yeah, he didn't immediately.
Yeah.
You know, like, he did not immediately.
He wanted you to stay there and
I
learn
did,
the
and,
lesson.
you know, I had my little Crocs on, you know, and had my jumpsuit. You know, I'm like, this might look kind of cool, but it don't feel kind of cool, you know. And I don't even know why I'd look cool. Like, why, like, that's what I don't understand about thug life. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why do we think that's a good idea? It's a terrible idea. Terrible idea, man. Like, I got in trouble too, which is really crazy on a sad note. Like, those same ideals is like, the first time I ever got in trouble with drugs was pot, you know, and, like, it wasn't really harmless except just the fact that I just had it, and, you know, I had told a lie about my involvement with it. And that same dude that I used to run around with, he ended up getting shot and killed, which is, like, kind of eye-opening. You know, and my dad was always there to be like, look, don't, you know, like, we butted heads because I was a teenager, you know, and he was very busy with the Dairy Queen. So, like, we really didn't communicate a lot. But he would tell me, you know, like, you're going to end up dead if you just, like, you don't have to do this. Like, you're being an idiot, you know. And sure enough, that same person, when he told me, he was like, he's going to end up dead. And he did. He ended up dead, like, 5 or 6 years later. Tried to rob somebody's house, and they shot him. Which is crazy. I mean, and that's what I'm saying is, like, how quickly the culture can pull you away from things that you don't have to squander. You know, like, we didn't grow up rich or anything like that. We did not grow up in the hood or anything like that. I was around a lot of different culture though, so I was proud of that. Like, living in Birmingham with my mom, we lived in Vestavia. It's like a nice area.
that's like
It's a nice area. And like my mom, growing up though, she kind of struggled with some things. And so like AA meetings and stuff that I would go to with her, I'd play basketball with some of the men at their men's league on Sundays at these meetings. And there were two guys that were, they grew up in dire straits. Like they grew up in tough circumstances. And they would take me to the rec leagues and stuff and play ball with me. And that's where I learned to play basketball. So his name's Charles Stanley. I don't know where he's at these days, but Charles was a cool dude, and his buddy Sam. They were much older than me. And it was cool that my mom let me play ball with him because I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles came up to my mom and was like, "Hey, would you mind like if I pick your son up and take him to play basketball with us?" And like, here's this dude from Inslee, and it doesn't look anything like me. You know what I mean? And it was cool that he picked up on that. But yeah, like I think personally, like I've seen just enough to know how to value life now for sure. But they do make for very funny stories, like funny stories.
What was the coldest line that your dad said? Bro?
Dad said when he picked me up, he took me to the house, and he didn't say a word to me. And he goes to the door, and he's like, "You know why I keep the door locked?" And I was like, "No, sir. To keep thieves out the house." And I was like, oh, dang, that hurt.
That's tough.
That hurt.
No, that's tough,
I
though.
was like, that really hurt me. I was like, dang it, I'm an idiot.
He was talking about you stealing from Best Buy, bro.
Yeah. And he was just like, I don't want a thief in my house. I'm like, dang it. So it's tough.
You never stole again, right?
No, I never did. I would never. Dude, man, you crazy? No way. No way.
I think the only thing I've ever stolen was at a book fair when I was in like 3rd grade. I thought it was a little pencil, but the multicolored pens. You push one down. I stole that. That's the only thing I've ever stole. I don't think they ever caught me for that. But
I think my mom said the first thing I ever stole was a grape at the grocery store.
Bro, okay.
It's my life of crime.
If you don't steal a grape at the grocery store, like,
yeah,
come on, you gotta
like
grow up a
just
little
pick
bit.
one and then or a cherry or something. Just
all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime me and my mom we would go to the grocery store, grocery shop, mom would get a grape. Hell yeah. There's nothing wrong with taking some grapes from a grocery store. But
that's funny.
I know you just mentioned your dad running the Dairy Queen. So the Dairy Queen that he owned is the one that you currently have now, right? You have your restaurant, the third place?
Yeah. And it's like, and it's a struggle because it's definitely different times economically. So like, again, I've been very honest about like, if it will be successful at all, I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't go into it with, visions of grandeur. I just was like, here's another opportunity, whether it succeeds or not. This is what God's put on my plate, and I'm going to step up to the plate and see how far I can hit it, And if that's not very far, then I will learn something, And I've got other things I do now. So it wasn't my primary gig. But, yeah, it was like, they decided to get out of the Dairy Queen business, and it's just that's always a tough game. And, I wanted to take a swing at it because when I left 412, it's like, man, it'd be kind of nice to try my hand at something else and kind of apply what I've learned. Because you take it for granted when you have good business partners.
Yeah.
Like Steven and Rico were really good business partners, and of course everybody brings a bit of ego to the table, and that's always hard to work with. But like being at 412, dude, I take zero credit for that place. Like I was just good at schmoozing people and bullshitting with people and stuff like that. I take no credit. Like that is their place through and through. Like because I mean, what would it be if I didn't have those two guys? You know what I mean? Like nothing. I'd just be up there drinking,
drinking at 10 a.m.
Like it's stupid. They're 100% behind that.
Well, I mean, but you do make a mean smash burger, bro.
Dude, I love it.
Like
it is really good.
It's good, bro.
I used to make those. Like I used to make them at the Dairy Queen.
The smash burgers?
Yeah, because like it wasn't on the menu, so I'd sit back.
We would always experiment though.
Yeah, we would.
I'm telling you, I swear, one time I think we made like fried Oreos, but it was with like the gravy mix because it's just.
Whoa, what the fuck?
It was just like kind of what we had there. We had some Oreos, and they were like, well, we need a wrap, like to put in the fryer. And then we had some gravy mix, and I think we tried it, and it wasn't that bad.
Not terrible.
It wasn't terrible. I think it did. it's been so long ago. But we always try different stuff besides what was on the menu.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it is fun to experiment.
Yeah. Then, dude, I'm like what's the word? That's like, I don't want not. What's a good word for lover, but not lover?
Maybe you could say fan. You know, a fan. You know, I would
Fiend.
a fiend.
Bro, I'm a fiend for some smash burgers, bro. Like that's like one of my retirement goals. Whenever I get older, like I literally just want to travel and just try different
Try burgers.
burgers
Dude.
around, bro. I love burgers, bro.
Like that's what it's so hard because talking about being a creature of habit. I could go to a nice restaurant and I'll still all I will order is a burger or a steak.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like if you mess those two things up, I don't know that I want to eat
I
anything
wanna eat
else
it
that you
again.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
just feel like if you mess up a steak, like you couldn't imagine
You'll be
going.
surprised.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really mess up. I can cook a mean steak. I say I can cook a good smash burger too. I had the what's it called?
Like a griddle, like
Yeah, the griddle.
Blackstone.
Blackstone.
Oh, that's
Dude,
cool.
man, what I love cooking on that thing, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think I like a smash burger and a burger are two different things.
They're way different.
Mm-hmm.
Way different.
Way two different things, bro. And if I'm gonna eat a burger, it has to be a smash burger now.
Yeah, there's something about the flavor. I don't know what it is about it. Like, you ever gone to Shake Shack?
Oh yeah.
No, Shake Shack's good.
Shake Shack.
Shack's really
Or
good.
Freddy's.
Freddy's is good too.
Freddy's is tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think I went to Freddy's last year. I don't like those skinny fries.
That's weird.
I'm
There's
not
shoestring fries.
I don't like that.
I just don't feel satisfied eating them.
Yeah, it just feels weird. It feels like
Yeah.
you're eating toothpicks.
That's it.
This is not.
Yeah.
That's how we got good fries up there. I'm not gonna put a plug for the business, but it's pretty good.
The food is really good.
It is good.
Yes,
It's good.
yeah.
I feel like if you was in Coleman though,
Oh, dude.
you
I
know
would
what
I would
mean?
love to be able to bring the concept like to Coleman
Yeah.
in the city because it would be more successful. But
Yeah,
it sucks because I got a place for Hansville in my heart. That's
Yeah,
where I
of
graduated
course.
from, and I'd love for Hansville to grow. And
Hansville
I think
is
a lot
so
of people.
Small.
It is. It's small, and I think there's a lot of people that would like to see a cultural shift in Hansville.
Yeah.
I don't know how to go about doing that.
No.
You would think it would be growing and be bigger with that, the
school.
community college right there. But I really haven't seen much growth.
No, I mean it's, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the politics of the town. I mean, I know people have opinions on those things, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But it would be cool, like I'd like to see the little downtown area be developed and give you a little place to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when you're pitching, there's a lot of people pitching a fit about the tattoo parlor that they were trying to get.
They are?
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, I heard of it.
girl
yeah,
I went to school with, she's trying to do a tattoo parlor, and like they gave her hell for it. And I'm not speaking ill on anybody. I just feel like, come on, I mean, we all have tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thing now. And I'm like, you can't really call everybody with a tattoo evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what the deal was there, but I think it's fun. Like it's like that's a part of culture that towns need. Like tattoo parlors are cultural staples in America.
100%.
Like that's why I have them. That's why y'all have them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just something, and it's an interesting and easy way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know previous generations don't quite understand that.
Yeah.
But when you have less opportunity, I find, there's something like my dad. He had a nice car when he was a teenager, and you could just as well say the same thing. Somebody might look at me, oh, you don't need that. You don't need that car. You just need get your little bicycle, and it's just cultural in that thing. Like I think it's a fun part. Like if you have a nice tattoo parlor, I get all my tattoos at Blue Rose up in Huntsville, and they have been in the game for a long time, and it's a great shop. And there's something about that little hub that people gravitate to, and it's not.
I mean, it's like a barbershop too,
Yeah,
It's where
it
people
is.
go to hang out and just relax and get tatted up, conversation. I know whenever I go get mine, I I know I don't have big ass tattoos and stuff, but like, it's something about like the pain.
Yeah, like I actually enjoy the process. It is painful.
It is very,
but it's
but
one of those things you're just like,
I like the pain. I would rather sit through it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to explain. Only people that have tattoos understand
Exactly.
it.
And
There's no way
tattoo-
to express it.
Tattoo artists, they're like cool ass people,
And
dude.
they're so cool.
They're so cool.
Like if
bro.
you find a good one, if you find a
Yeah.
good one that's not a
Yes.
jerk, like, and they're willing to sit there and talk to you.
and just talk, bro. I love talking to my tattoo guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And they always have stories. Like tattoos and like barbershops, those people always have stories.
Yeah.
You
I
have-
went, the
how
only,
they got there.
I think the only tattoo I have that didn't come from Blue Rose was this one. And I went to a place in Nashville called Gold Club Electric. One of the coolest tattoo parlors I've been to. And the guy his name was Mike Fight. And he was just like a tattoo staple in Nashville. And like he died in a car wreck a few months later, and like it was such an interesting experience just to go see how much pride like he put into that place. And I think that's what people don't quite understand. It's just like, whatever you do it with pride, do it with respect and care. And I think that will, and I know Courtney, she does that, So if y'all want a tattoo, go to her shop.
No,
She's good.
I'm almost positive my best friend, she just got a tattoo, and she had mentioned is she not cutting in Hartsel right now?
I don't know where she is. I just see her on Facebook, but she
I swear she said that she's trying to move and get a spot in Hansville. And I was
Yeah.
like, my best friend, she was like, let's go get a tattoo. And I was like, if you want to get a matching tattoo, just say that. Because
Yeah.
I've been wanting another one and stuff. So but her tattoo does look really good. So
yeah, she's good.
I hope she comes to.
She's good. I think
Hansville.
she found a spot already. So yeah, that's where I'd go. I'm gonna go there.
Try her out.
It's about time for some more tats.
Yeah,
Put some real tats. I need.
You only go to one person. I'm kind of like a tattoo hopper.
That's all right.
It's
I mean,
But-
you try them out, but eventually, you'll settle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to
Settle.
definitely need to
I do.
stick with- I only
just-
go to one guy.
yeah, you do. And the girl that I get, she's just because she does like the realistic ones.
Yeah, those are nice though.
Yeah,
Those are good.
but like this is the only one I've gotten from her, and I want to get more, but she's just always booked out. So like when I have something in my head, like I want a tattoo, like I'm gonna get it like in the week or week and a half. Like I can't wait 3 months until she has a spot open. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I just
She's
want
got
it
the
thin in
itch.
there. I got the itch. Like I want
Yeah.
it thin in there, just like that.
Yep.
Like we can't. We need to get more hours up under the pen before we start talking about tattoos.
Yeah, you're. That's what someone said
Yeah,
that
fuck
that
that
we
guy.
can't talk because we don't have a lot of tattoos. And this guy had like a whole sleeve.
He had
like,
one.
okay,
He had one
sir.
sleeve, bro, and had the balls to get on my
Instagram.
on my page and
Yeah.
comment some slick shit, which I know he'll probably
Watch
this.
this too.
I don't
but-
care, but either way, it's just
I mean, you gotta
It's
start
a fucking-
somewhere.
it's fucking tattoos,
Like, you
bro.
gotta start somewhere. Like, you don't just go
dude.
sit down and get tatted.
it's
19
not like that guy.
tattoos
Yeah,
in
he
one
went in
night,
and got a
you know?
fucking whole sleeve his first time. You know what I mean? But that guy, I'm mad right now thinking about that. Maybe we should quit talking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mission accomplished on his end.
Exactly
Dude,
what I
he's
said.
happy now.
He's happy now.
He's gonna watch it.
He's happy. He's like, I did that.
Yep.
Just
And he's gonna go and
Just
talk.
that.
Just have him on the
100%.
podcast next.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. But no, you are 100% right. And that brings it back
That's
to me.
That's what people do.
Overthinking, bro.
Yeah.
Being in my
That's
fucking
it.
head all the time,
Just
bro.
getting worked up.
And
He might have not even meant anything by it.
oh no, he 100% did.
he
But-
did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
You
100%.
got to respond to it, drive conversations, because
Yes.
it's going to push the
The
video
out-
further. He's
yeah.
helping you get your video out there.
Yeah,
you
take
want
advantage of
negativity.
that. Take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
No such thing as bad publicity.
Oh man. I don't know.
I mean,
Ask
I
Diddy.
commented back.
advantage of
I
it.
commented back to him.
He
and-
said like
What'd you
so-
say?
the first thing that came up to his head, he like, I'm gonna say it, and he just said it, and I was like, whoa, that's just not just say anything. We gotta
What'd you
think
say?
this through.
What did I say?
You have to.
Oh, I said
restraint.
I was like, oh yeah, because I went to his page and I clicked. I wanted to see like, why the fuck are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a sleeve, and I'm like, he had one sleeve, and I'm like, dude, just because you got one sleeve,
Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you're like
like
hard shit or
I
something.
have to look. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what I said. I
But
don't
he
know
said
exactly
something
what I
like
said.
that. Like the first thing that came up to his mind is he said it.
But like
Yeah.
you said, that's good. It's good publicity.
Yeah.
It means he's watching our videos, paying attention.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, maybe.
Driving traffic.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I might have a different perspective on that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But
Um,
did we hit all the topics already?
I think so. We're sitting at an hour now.
At an hour?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you did. And the only thing we didn't talk about was movies.
And Diddy.
I think
Oh, actually, you did talk.
we did
Yeah,
talk a
we
little
did talk
Diddy.
about Diddy.
We did talk a little Diddy.
Yeah, we had it's good. But yeah, I mean, so like I know you were talking about your writing and short films and stuff. Is that like is that your end goal? Is that your dream? Like
Yeah.
filmmaking and writing and
Yeah,
screenplay?
because it does. Like I've said, personally, I've seen the difference it's made for me, and I do know that like even with y'all, everything you do starts with the written word.
Mm-hmm.
And people belittle it so much, and like how else do you pull a plan together if you don't put the words down on paper? And so like writing is it's the backbone of culture. So, and if when you're looking to make a shift in culture, especially at a time like now where things in America do need to change in drastic ways, because it's making people sick. Whatever we're doing is making them sick, But like we said, if you're inundated with the same stuff every single day, then as a person, you've got to be willing to step back and develop that patience to tell different stories to people, and that's why I like it, because, music before filmmaking like took over as like the cultural standard for artistic expression, because it's a very difficult field. It's a difficult medium because you're tying in so many different things and movement, It's not the same as a statue or painting. Now, those things in and of themselves are difficult, but you're pulling in, it's a highly collaborative, and Vinny knows that, film is highly collaborative. And so like when you get on that roll, like when you're all on the same page, working towards that same goal, like you can make something really great. I mean, look, like the movies that you used to watch in the 90s are not the same as the movies you watch now. Like the theaters are eaten up by Marvel movies, which is fine, but there's no variety. There's nothing that's really driving, the culture, because those things do influence you, and I think that there is a different way to make movies. And I love horror movies, like I love scary movies, but I don't think every scary movie has to be, negative or nihilistic. Like I think that, to me personally, just as a fan, what I see is there is a major hole in that part of culture that for some reason I feel very strongly that it could actually help right some wrongs. But, it takes time. But I do want to do it, like, again, growing up younger, thinking that I'd like to do this just because of the fame that I thought it would bring me. That's not really why I fell in love with it, and then I realized that as like life progressed, and I still kept wanting to write. And I realized, like, man, I still want to do this even though I'm not making any money at it at all. And so I really started developing a respect for the craft. But I do, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But I do want to make movies that tell a different story. Like, notice, like, a lot of stuff in theaters, man, and it's, like, either really violent horror films which are fine. Like, all right, if that's your thing. But, like, everything is really self-indulgent, and it's always, like, vindictive. And I'm not into that type of stuff. Like, I'm not into revenge type of things. Like, I don't think revenge is a very good moral foundation. I like redemption and hope, because like I said, what else? Like when you're sitting there comparing yourself as a person and feeling so anxious about the culture you live in, what is actually giving you any sense of hope? Like if there was something in your life that gave you hope, you wouldn't be so anxious, And I'm sure like your family, obviously, but outside of that, when you're thinking as a career, when it all feels so cutthroat and just, scrounging for that, it's tough. And I think if you, as artists, I think that is your goal, is to present new ideas to people, new possibilities that they can then start to look at themselves and say, man, I can envision myself way different. I mean, look at like being a barber, man. Like you help people fulfill a particular part of their identity. They come out different than they came in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they come, That's why people go to movies, is to experience that change, But if the change is from bad to worse, I mean, that's not
ideal.
It's bad news bears.
Yeah.
So,
what would be like your all-time favorite horror film?
oh man,
And don't say The Exorcist.
now The Exorcist is good though. It's good. Get Out. I liked Get Out.
Get Out's very like
Jordan Peele's a fucking mastermind,
yes.
bro. I love that guy.
He's amazing.
His movies
Dude.
are so like you have to like think about it, like what's the message
So,
behind
Did y'all
this?
see Nope? And see that's what I mean about good movies that
Bro,
represent.
look at this.
Yes.
I got chills because he's amazing.
Yes.
He
He
is
is.
fucking
Yes.
He gets it. And so like that's what makes him such a like an auteur in cinema, is the sense that like there are things you can do to just be self-indulgent, and there are things you can do. There are people that are willing to like grab culture, and I'll say that word 1,000 times, by the horns and like expose weak parts of it. So like I know with Get Out, the interesting thing about it is look, man, like to bring it full circle, like look at the Diddy situation. Like look at the standards that, for instance, like an elitist culture sets, and then the way they abuse people on their way to the top. Like that whole movie, that's what that movie is about. And like Jordan Peele is telling black guys, like, dude, get out of that idea. Like get your head out of that space. Like that is not where you belong. Like, and he's not like telling you how to think. He's just saying, hey, look, like, and I think a lot of white people misunderstood the movie because it has nothing to do with like low and middle class white people. Like the family in the movie is extremely elite. Like they are elitists. And they hide behind some of their political ideology. Like the dad says, you know, oh, I would have voted for Obama a third time. Like as if that's a show of trust for a black dude. It's like, okay, what does that matter?
Yeah.
You know, and so, and Jordan Peele is like cautioning, you know, like, hey, y'all, this is not what it's about. And I'll give you a good example as to why that movie was so culturally groundbreaking. The original ending to that movie was going to be bad. It was going to end with Chris's character going to prison, you know. But in the wake of like obviously certain racial tensions at the time, he said, I think that this would be a better message to send to a part of my culture. And so he shifted it, you know. And just like that, it became one of the best movies ever. If the ending was any different, it wouldn't have been this good. You know, it was hopeful. So Get Out's my favorite, and it's relatively new. But Get Out is probably my favorite. And Nope is like, it's all about being obsessed with spectacle. It's all about being obsessed with how we present ourselves. And he called it Nope because, like, nope, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not getting into this, you know? So think about it. It's like that one, the whole movie's like that one perfect shot. Like, what will I sacrifice to get that one perfect shot of myself fulfilling what I believe I'm supposed to fulfill? And it's just dead on the inside, you know? So.
Dude, his movies are just, like she said, you really, just, oh, damn, like, I didn't even think like that until you go back and you rewatch it, or you read something like an article or something about it, like, oh, that's what that, dude.
Yeah, those are really good.
I'm gonna
movies.
go watch Nope when I get home tonight.
Yeah, I think it's underappreciated. Like,
it got a lot of hate.
A lot of hate because I think, like you said, a lot of people thought it meant something completely different, but the way you explained it,
the way you just explained it,
I
gotta go watch that again just so I can.
Well, like think about like why it's so interesting that like the inside of the UFO, like I mean, especially with UFO culture right now, everybody's enamored with the idea that UFOs are out there, but we're so convinced that what's on the inside of this UFO is like, you know, green aliens. Bro, on the inside of that UFO, it was just like an insatiable appetite that just sucks you in. Like the whole like. What the UFO actually was like, I was not expecting that. I'm like, this is weird.
The part that like was like really, it was dark, was when that one got sucked up, but you could just hear all that screaming.
You could hear it,
And that was like so like that was a beautiful part to put in that movie, bro.
Because you think about it, it's like that's kind of like what happens. You just get pulled into that type of stuff.
Yeah,
it just pulls you in. And when his dad gets killed with the nickel in his eye, you know, like it was like, ooh. Kind of goes to show, you know, the money is not the motivation, man. It's poor motivation.
Yeah.
So